Well, folks, it was time for another new car again. I do a lot of these videos on the channel. I do get through cars pretty quick. For those who are concerned about the Golf, I do not have the Golf R32 anymore. That is what this vehicle is replacing. For those who can see the headrests, you will of course recognize what it is. This is in fact, I'll probably put it in the thumbnail anyway, my third outing with a Maserati, Quattroporte once again. I'd still be interested in getting a Gran Turismo maybe at some point, but the problem that I have with the Gran Turismo is, as much as I love it, the Gran Turismo really only has one advantage over the Quattroporte, and that is the looks. I think it is a better looking car, but it's less practical. I would actually go so far as to say, and this might be controversial, I think the Quattroporte has better handling because the Gran Turismo has a more conventional weight distribution, whereas for those who don't know, the Quattroporte is highly unusual. It actually has more weight over the back end, the earlier ones even more so because they had dry sump lubrication. These ones, this is a facelift once again. For those who remember a couple of cars back, I had one of these. The one I had before was a 2009 in a dark blue. It was a blue Oceano. Absolutely gorgeous car. I spotted a Bentley Flying Spur, decided to go for that. That didn't work out, unfortunately, due to electrical issues. And that Quattroporte really was the one that I regretted getting rid of, because I got everything from that experience that I was hoping for the first time around, because the first one I had was a Duo Select, the F1 transmission. Garbage. I would never recommend to anyone to get any Cambia Corsa, F1, Duo Select. It's just all different names for the same thing. Any Maserati that has that, so like a 4200, 3200 Quattroporte, avoid them at all costs is my advice. This one is a ZF. I believe it's the same gearbox, HP626, that they use in, I think, the Jag XKR. If I recall, I think the Rolls-Royce Phantom uses it as well. It's a very popular choice. And yeah, it's a proper automatic instead of an automated manual. You still have the paddles anyway, so you can still have fun with it. Still got sport mode. But yeah, this one's technically 1 year older than the last one I had. This is a 2008 facelift. Very unique color, as you'll have probably seen from the outside. It looks to me like Goodwood green, but I couldn't find whether or not they were still producing Goodwood green in 2008. So unless I just couldn't find that, the only green I could find from that era was a Verde Emerald metallic, which looks a little bit lighter than this. This definitely looks more like Goodwood green, but it's not a color I would have typically gone for. It is my first green car. But in person, I'm hoping it comes through on the video, but it probably won't. It looks absolutely incredible. It really does. It's a stunning looking color. I love the fact that it has this wood trim wheel as well. I'll probably throw in some POV footage also, but I love the wheel. As simple as it sounds, it was one of the things that stood out to me first on it. I love the choice that the owner made in terms of interior color, exterior, etc. Mileage-wise, exactly the same as my blue one, 58,000. So this and that one are my lowest mileage cars I've had. Might still sound like a lot to some people, but it really isn't. It's only a two-owner car from new, has the full service history. As I've said before, that is my recommendation when it comes to Maseratis, like a Quattroporte. And I think the Quattroporte is just an astonishingly good value car. Mostly in the UK, but I'm sure some other places as well, because people are just terrified of owning these, and it's a shame because you really do get an incredible car for the money. Because compare this to its rivals. I did a rivals match recently between this, the Panamera, and the Aston Rapide, remaking the Top Gear Challenge. And the Panamera is my probably favourite of the three in terms of all-round ability. The Aston is my favourite in terms of just being, in my opinion, the most badass and gorgeous four-door car ever made. But the Maserati is definitely the best of the three on value. Because one of these, you can get a really nice Quattroporte with the ZF, with the facelift, with either what this is, a 4.2 again, or even something like a GTS, or even an S with a 4.7, you can get them for a fraction of the cost. Like 15 grand will get you a really nice ZF Quattroporte. You'll be paying at least double that for a good Panamera, and like 3-4 times that for a regular condition Rapide. So it's not that they're bad, it's just that the prices on these just undercut them so much. There are a couple of differences between this one and the other. Obviously the wood wheel, this one has a sunroof. I'm not planning on using the sunroof much because it's Italian, so I don't really want to use anything that I don't want to break. So if I just don't use it, then it probably won't malfunction. It's got the sliding back and forth, obviously, to let extra light in, which I love. But yeah, I mean, people do, I think, kind of think it's funny when you buy a Maserati. I've had comments in the past of people like, why wouldn't you just get like a Jag XFR? You praise them so much. Surely that's got to be more reliable than the Maserati. Technically, yes, but the Jag just doesn't quite have that wow factor. The Jag is very understated, very much a sleeper. Great car, but it's also basically a four-door XK. I've already had an XK, and I don't feel like I need that in my life. If I were to get another Jag, honestly, I think it would probably be something like the old man's Jag, an X350 shape, XJR, because they are astonishingly nice cars. Again, the thing that holds me back, though, is the looks. Overall, I absolutely love these. I love the Quattroporte. It's great to be back in one again. The Golf was fantastic, and it's an easy recommendation for me. I bought it from a guy called Ben Cahan, Cahan Motors here in the UK. He doesn't even know I'm giving him a shout out, but be sure to check him out if you're looking for an R32, because he's imported like 7 or 8 of them from Japan, as mine was. You pay half as much yearly tax, and everything else is basically the same as a UK car. So yeah, he said back when I bought mine that he had wanted to keep that one originally, and he'd always kind of wanted that one back. So I sold that one back to him and got this one on the same day. And yeah, it's because of the Lincoln, to be honest, that I wanted to change up the Golf, because the 68 Lincoln that I've got is so over the top, so larger than life in every way, in the best ways, that it makes the Golf just feel too normal. And the Golf also isn't really that great as a long-distance car, you know, because the wingback seats are more restrictive, it's harsher on the suspension, the short wheelbase makes it a little bit twitchy on motorways, the lack of a 7th gear, as I've said before. Fantastic car, but not really a motorway car, and it was never supposed to be. Whereas something like this, you know, Quattroporte, of course it's a fantastic motorway car. The only real difference on this is I'm taking a hit in fuel economy. That being said, for what is essentially a Ferrari engine, it's an M113 engine, I average about 21 to 23 to the gallon out of these Quattroportes, so I think that's actually pretty damn good for a 400 horsepower V8 Ferrari engine, especially when it's in a, 17-foot long, nearly 2-ton four-door. So again, for full exposure, I actually looked at buying something which would have been completely new to me. It would have been my first Aston. I went to look at a private seller's DB7. The guy was selling year 2000 DB7 V12 Vantage. Gorgeous car, but it was really, really high miles, like 160,000 miles on the clock. Very well loved, but still super high miles. The entire roofline was sagging down like this much. And I just thought, I wasn't really meshing with it. They're super cramped, like the headroom is more like this in the DB7, and the roof is like right there. So based on my review of the 6-cylinder version, even driving that for a few hours, it gave me a bad back. So yeah, I think I still love the idea of an Aston. Obviously, the Rapide would be the dream one for me. I'm yet to drive a DB9, but I could see myself really liking the DB9, but we'll see. For now, though, of course, Maserati being my favorite brand, it's great to be in one again. And yeah, I'm planning on, depending on how long I keep it for, to do the servicing, you know, keep it in good nick. And it's going to be doing about 120 to 160 miles a week or so. And between this and the Lincoln, I've got both bases covered. Bit of old, bit of new, bit of Italian exotic, bit of American, not really muscle, but kind of muscle. It's certainly got a lot of muscle attributes. And it's starting to rain here, which is typical. But yeah, so that's the announcement vid. I won't be doing a Beards and Cars review for this, because technically I already have. I reviewed the blue one that I had. But what I might be doing, now that I've had 3, I may do, like I did recently with the Golf, a long-term owner's review for the Quattroporte. As I've done with the Touareg, I did so with the Golf. I think I did so with maybe 1 or 2 others that I had, I don't recall. Also, before I close out the video, on the other 2 Quattroportes, there was one thing which I never got around to doing, and this time I really want to. I never did a muffler delete on my Quattroportes, and it is such a prime car for it, because these are so muffled, and the mufflers aren't even that big. It's got twin boxes at the back, and they're quite small, but they're really restrictive. So there's a company who make from the center back, so it still has the resonator, still has the cats, so it shouldn't drone too much, but it really releases more of that, you know, what is it, nearly 8,000 RPM V8. So if you got an engine like that, why would you want to have it muffled? I mean, Maseratis are known for being incredible sounding cars, so why wouldn't you want to hear it? The only downside to the system is you've either got to get it custom made, because they have like the exhaust is like a step system where it goes out the back, or get the pre-made one where obviously you're paying more for a stainless. So I think I'll just pay for that one, at least then on resale value. It's not some kind of bodge job, you know, it's like a full-on aftermarket proper system. And yeah, of course there'll be a video for that, and I'm really keen to get that done soon. In other news, the Lincoln is going in for heart surgery of sorts on the 6th of November. I have taken delivery of a Holly Sniper EFI system to convert the Lincoln from carburetor to fuel injection, and I'm so excited for that to happen. The garage is having it for a week just to see how long it takes, to give them some time to play with, and I'm really looking forward to that, because there's a video on YouTube. I'll give them a shout out when I do the video about that. But there's a video of some guys doing it already to a 67 Lincoln, and the results were incredible. Like instant throttle response, starts first time every time, never stalls, better up hills, better performance, better power, and much better fuel economy. So it will allow me to actually use the Lincoln even more, because the Lincoln literally costs like £1 a mile to run in the UK. It does 7 miles per gallon, and you have to run it on premium. So it's very, very expensive to run. It makes this thing look like a Prius in comparison, and certainly the Golf. But yeah, that's it for the update. For my fellow Maserati fans, I'm back in the club, and I'm glad to be. And yeah, so we'll see how it goes. Tune in for more, especially for the exhaust vid, and until next time, I'll see you then. But for now, as always, thanks for watching.